Hi, third graders. Hope you're having a good snowy Friday. Today is March 20th, and I wanted to read a couple more chapters of Front Desk with you. Olive and I are relaxing by the fireplace. It was so nice to see you guys at conferences, and we're really excited to start our Mac Without Walls distance learning with all of you after spring break. Without further ado, Chapter 55. I thought the whole point of having customers fill in their address was so you could mail them their stuff back in case they left it behind, Mr. Yao said after the girl and her mom left. Wasn't that your idea? I couldn't speak. The humiliation, embarrassment, had burned a hole in my tongue. I vowed never to talk to him again. My parents slipped back in through the back door and joined us. Where'd you guys go? Mr. Yao asked. You guys missed the whole thing. In all his excitement over the jeans, he had completely forgotten about the immigrants in room 6. I looked up at my mom and could tell from her face that they were safe. My mom would never know the price I paid for their safety. Jason knew. The whole time his dad was interrogating me, asking me questions. He had been looking out the window. He saw my parents knock on room number 6's door. He saw them sneak the immigrants out of their rooms and out the back. He saw the whole thing. But he never said anything. Dear Jason, thank you for not saying anything to your dad. I don't know why, but you didn't. Maybe you're not so bad after all. Your friend, crossed out and changed to your classmate, Mia. I stared at the last part. Maybe you're not so bad after all. My grandma used to say that people don't change. Our heart is like a rubber band. It might stretch a little, but eventually it snaps right back. I'm not sure if I believed that. Part of me did. We were talking about Jason here, the same kid who took my pencil and licked it. The other part of me, though, wondered. There used to be a time when I let my cousins walk all over me. They were all boys, and I was the only girl, and in China, girls are kind of like spare tires. It's nice if you have one, but they're not important. Even my grandmother, whom I loved and missed so much, believed this. She believed it like she believed the sky was blue, like it was a fact. Girls were just not as useful as boys. She never came out and said this, of course, but she'd have little ways of showing it, like always putting the best dishes in front of my cousins at family dinners and not me. She'd pat their heads and tell them to eat up before the dish got cold. And I'd watch as they snatched and grabbed the food with their greedy chopsticks until there were hardly any more pieces of chicken left for me, only burnt onions. One day, I picked up my chopsticks and started grabbing back. I snagged chicken, shrimp, whatever I could put up with my chopsticks, whatever I could pick up with my chopsticks, and hoarded it all in my mouth. Hey, Steph complained, not fair. We weren't close then, and I narrowed my eyes at him. As I picked up my chopsticks to reach for more food, Shen blocked my chopsticks with his. Our chopsticks collided, bumped, like swords. The two of us held them in position, neither willing to back down. It went on like this the next night, and then the night after that. Eventually, our chopsticks war got so bad, my grandmother had to use her own chopsticks to draw a line in the food and declare one side mine and the other side Shen's. From then on, every dish had a line. I remember countless birthdays, Chinese New Year, everything had a line. Then one day I looked down and the line was gone. My grandmother had forgotten to draw it. I waited for Shen to take the first piece of chicken, and he waited for me. Neither of us grabbed. Neither of us hoarded. Somehow we'd gone from fruit enemies to friends. Neither of us knew when it had happened. We just knew we no longer needed the line. I thought about that and how maybe people do change as I thought about Jason. I didn't end up giving the letter to Jason. I was going to, but for some reason, I just didn't. You know how sometimes you raise your hand and when the teacher finally calls on you, you pretend you were only tucking in your hair? It was kind of like that. As the first of the spring flowers bloomed, I tried to forget the painful memory of the jeans. It helped that I had Hank and Lupe to distract me, and the mailman. Every time he came, I thought about the contest. I thought, this is it. Today is the day my life is going to change. but the letter from Vermont did not arrive. Other unexpected news did arrive, though, which completely shook up our world. Mr. Yao was selling the motel. My parents' faces turned white. The temperature in the room plummeted as Mr. Yao told them the news. A real estate deal for him in Nevada had gone bad, and he needed a cash injection. So what does that mean for us? My parents asked him. You? Mr. Yao asked. He snorted, like we hadn't occurred to him at all. Then he shrugged. Depends on what the new owner wants to do with you. He said it like we were inventory, freely disposable, along with the washer and dryer. Lupe told me not to worry. Motels weren't like houses. They took ages to sell. There's a whole inspection process and everything, she said. I'm sure you guys are going to be out of here before Mr. Yao even finds a buyer. Have you told your parents about the essay contest yet? No, I said. I didn't know what it was about me and secrets. Once I had one, I just couldn't let it go. I would feed it and snuggle it, and it would grow and grow inside me until it took a life all its own. So no, I hadn't told my parents. I'd been too busy imagining the look of surprise on their face to actually surprise them. They're going to lose it when you win, Lupe said with a smile. My parents did lose it, but not over my winning the contest. They were losing it over who the new motel owner was going to be. Oh my gosh, what if he hates Chinese people? My mother asked, biting down on her nail. Or if he wants to run it himself, my father said. Should we look for another job? My mom asked. What should we do? My parents paced the living room, fretting and panicking, while I sat quietly in the corner. That was the problem with keeping a secret. You were all alone on your own little island. Have you ever thought about how nice it would be if we owned the motel? I asked. I just kind of threw it out there. My dad laughed. That would be nice, he said. He looked into the distance and let himself imagine. For a second. We wouldn't have to work every single day. We can take Sundays off together as a family. We could all go swimming, my mom added. I'd love to jump in that pool. Me too, I said. I'd love to get some sleep, my dad said. If we own the motel, I could put up a sign that says, sorry, I'm sleeping. Come back in the morning. A smile played at his lips as he pictured how extraordinary life would be if he could sleep through the night. Then his smile faded and reality set in. Maybe in another life, he said, picking up his broom. I shook my head. No, Dad, not in another life, I said. In this life. Our eyes locked. A second passed, and then another. And then I whispered my secret. So that is where we're going to stop for today. It's the end of chapter 55. I wonder how Mia's dad is going to respond to her secret that she entered the hotel contest. I look forward to doing some more read aloud time with you. For now, enjoy your weekend and the start of your spring break, and we'll see you soon, third graders. We miss you all.